r/ask credit. What black market did kids at your school run? When I was in the 6th grade, a teacher sold candy in between classes at marked up rates. A student decided to undercut her. That put an end to all candy sales. Classic example of big business legislating small business out of the market. You could even say it was a textbook example. This girl Danielle convinced my best friend, and I, along with some other people, that she could forever change the taste of saliva in our mouth, so that our saliva would taste like watermelon, cotton candy, bubble gum, etc. forever. She made us wait a couple days, so we could really think about what flavor we wanted in our mouth forever. For example, she would tell us, "Are you sure you always want everything you eat to have a hint of watermelon?" Anyways, after a couple days, and we picked a flavor, she charged us money. I can't remember how much, but it was probably 50 cents, or something. She made us chew on all this crazy stuff, like paper clips, erasers, and other things. Obviously our saliva never changed flavor, and she stopped this. But I worked at Starbucks a couple years ago in my hometown, and she came in and didn't even recognize me, and all I could think about was how that girl had me chewing on paper clips. Was she head of her own religion by then? Silly Bandz. I remember a kid made like $50 one day. Wanting to get in on this craze, I remember saving up for a month and going to the dollar store and buying a couple dozen packs of these damn things. Only when I got home, I realized these packs were the ones that always contained exactly the same ones in every pack, and nobody thought they were cool or wanted any of them. About a month later they went completely out of style. It kept me up at night for a while. At my school they took all sweets out of the vending machines and replaced them with healthy snacks. In the local town there was a sweet shop where you could buy a kilo of mixed sweets for $5, so every week I would go there and buy one of small paper bags and spend the Sunday night before school repackaging them all ready for the week ahead. Come Monday I would go into school and load my bag up every day, selling the bags for 50p. Marbles were big at my primary school. Real big. It got to the stage where they were only allowed for 3 months a year, as we would no longer discuss anything but the game we had or the make we wanted to pay for. That was marble season. Now you could buy a big bag of cat's eyes from the supermarket, but they wouldn't get you far. To play the high-stakes games, you needed a spec egg, a glitter bomb, a tidal wave, or something exotic, but those suckers were pricey. Us poor kids couldn't afford those things, so we secretly gambled our marbles through the year, so when marble season opened, we had amassed enough marbles to really be ahead of the game. Being caught with marbles outside of marble season was bad. Real bad. One kid got 5 strokes of the cane. This being so, it was a big risk to hide in the shadows of the trees and sling those little glass balls about. Not only did it hone your skills for the season start, but you got good at taking the shot and then acting nonchalant. Marbles were currency. You could trade lunches with them or buy time on playground equipment. There was a good reason they banned marbles at my school. We turned it into some sort of mafia stuff. Low pops from Sam's Club, 25 cents each. Must have made a killing as a 5th grader, so this was me too. I forget when I started, 5th grade. 8th grade. I know I was doing it as a 10th grader. We lived in a small farming community, but my dad worked a couple hours away in the city. He'd stop at Sam's and buy me a box or 2. I sold them for 25 each, or 5 for $1. It got to the point where I could sell easily 50 per day. I had regulars who I would save certain flavors for, and everything. You could order for the next day even. I ended up and got caught by the bus driver as a 10th grader, near the end of the school year, I think, but I don't remember exactly. She must have made a stink about it to the school, because 5th period came right after lunch, and an announcement came across the PA system. I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like, "It has come to our attention that there are students who are involved in economic activity at school. This is not allowed. Students are only authorized to sell things officially offered by school clubs, teams, etc." I was in the midst of selling right then. The teacher in 5th period was really cool, and as long as I was done by the time he started his lectures, he didn't mind. He was one of those teachers who was cool like that, but he also had his serious side. So, afterwards, he let me quickly finish, then said never again. The entire school, at least the students, knew who was being called out. That was the end of that. Before you ask, no, I don't remember how much I bought them for. Exactly. However, I remember paying like $5 per box at the start, perhaps up to $6.50 or so by the end. The announcement is basically saying we want a cut. That's a nice little business you've got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Apple laptops in middle school, some had iTunes, some didn't, and the kids wanted it, so I apparently was the only one who knew how to transfer the installer with my USB. I put it on everyone's laptop for gifts, favors, etc. in return. Got caught by the sub that day. I told her it was my flash drive, I could do what I wanted with it. And that's how I got my second detention of my life. Nintendo games. Some kids sold them off for like 10 or 15 bucks a pop. I don't know where he got them from, but he said he just told his dad what he wanted and his dad would get it for him. He'd ask for the same ones over and over and it didn't matter. He'd end up with 5 copies and he'd just sell 4 of them. Either the kid was the most spoiled brat in history, or his dad was straight up stealing them anyhow. Anyways, I could never get any. I had a Sega, but I remember that kid making a killing in grade 3. These little game coupons that our teacher gave out for win-in class quiz games. Right when people were starting to get scanners/printers in their own homes, some kid made copies of his coupons and sold or traded them to other students. Since I have some people asking what the coupons could be traded for, it was usually a piece of candy, or a pencil with a fun print, or something similar. I think the kids ended up getting caught, like 2 weeks into the scheme. In a similar vein, our high school had homework passes redeemable across all classes. You could use them as either one free pass for a homework assignment, or 1 day delay on a large report. They even had a void message if copied. The teachers got them from the principal at the beginning of each quarter, and they passed them out with wild abandon to anyone showing interest in class. The market was flooded. It'd buy them from kids for $2 each. Then it'd wait. At the end of the quarter, larger reports would be due. Rich kids would buy them back from me for $25 to $50 each. I once made $370 in the last 5 days of the quarter. Whatever I earned, it typically only used a total of $15 to $20 to buy the next wave of homework passes. The rest was mine to keep. It all started with a single 0.75-cent investment, and that was the only bit of money I ever paid from my own pocket to keep it going. When little Timmy went to school and found the perfect ploy, he thought it super neat and cool to buy and sell with joy. "I get them nice and cheap," said he. "I trade them back for more. I'm making bank." He cried with glee, "I've riches, gold galore." He shared the seedy, greedy grin with enterprising pride. But lots of others wanted in. And to me I'd. For a few spare years in elementary, books got banned in the classroom. Not blacklisted books, but literally books in general. They were far too distracting even though most kids read when done with work, etc. I started smuggling books to school and peddling them out to kids. It started out innocently. I had loads of Hank the Cowdog books that I was super into, and I hid them in my desk, and I loaned them to close friends when asked. But soon, the entire class knew, and that spread to the school. I became a full-time book smuggler. I had a system where there was a 2-week borrowing limit, kept a log of who/what books/when, ran a teensy little library for myself, basically, and I made sure these kids were treating the books fairly. If anything came back damaged, they were banned from borrowing. Kept this up until middle school, which was considerably less totalitarian. My grandpa taught me how to crack the protection on DVDs and burn them to blanks. I would buy the 100 packs of blanks for like $20 to $30 and sell the movies for like $5 each. I thought it was gonna come to an end when someone brought it up in front of a teacher. Turns out he wanted movies too.